What's up, everybody? I'm your host, The Real Brody, and this is the We Say
They Say
podcast. Tonight, we have a real serious episode, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be talking about mental depression, anxiety, suicide, things of that nature. But before we get into that, I want to introduce my co-host. In the middle, y'all know, we got Bonquisha right here. On my right side, we got my man, my DJ, my brother. Meet you 2 times, say it 2 times.
2 times.
You already know what we do, man. You know, every show we start off with how everybody's day went. So, Bonquisha, how was your day? You was in New York earlier.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Road running.
I want to go to sleep, but I'm good.
That wasn't a secret?
Nobody know who I was there with.
You was in New York, fuck it. I ain't know. Who you, boo?
Me?
What you think? My day was regular, man. Got some groceries, grown man shit. And shout out to the Washington football team too, man. They had the first black president of football organization. So shout out to the Washington football team. Y'all might win 3 games this year now, man. I'm proud of y'all. Y'all gonna go from 2 to 3. So shout out to the Bums, man. But no, that's real rap though. At the end of the day, as much as we don't fuck with them, because we Cowboy fans, we still got it. Call it what you want. But I'm going to still pay homage. They did something. You know what I'm saying? First, they got rid of that wild-ass name. And then they follow up with that. You know what I'm saying? It could be a publicity stunt. They could be doing it because they want to be talked about. You know what I'm saying? We don't know how that shit really go. But at the end of the day, they did it. So you got to respect it regardless.
Right.
So how was your day, brother, man?
Man, still essential, as they would say. Still getting up, going to work every motherfucking day, paying bills, ain't shit changed. But let's get into the topic. So everybody, like I said, today's topic is going to be about mental health, depression, anxiety, things of that such. So Tanisha, let me ask you this question. Have you ever suffered from depression?
Yes.
I know it's different levels, but what type of level was your depression on?
So my level, I'm actually diagnosed with major depression.
Okay.
And PTSD.
Okay.
A lot of people joke about it, but it's something serious. Sometimes you'll never know somebody really going through it unless they open up. That's one of the little mechanisms we have. Like, you'll never know something's going on until you actually see somebody get to their breaking point. So for me, like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I was to a point where it was just like, you need help. So I went to a therapist and actually sat down and talked with them, and she diagnosed me with PTSD and major depression. Every day is different. Sometimes you'll be good. So it's not something that you just have for a week.
Right.
It's something that continues to go on. So now I'm good, but tomorrow I might have an episode.
Right.
And when I say episode, it's just like, you never know when it's going to come for real. You could be having a bomb-ass week, and then your thought or your mental just take you back to a place, and you go back into that little dark hole.
I can relate.
So.
I can definitely relate. One thing that I've noticed in the African American community is we have problems with therapy as a community.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we feel like therapy is a problem. Like, you know what I'm saying? We feel like when we go to therapy, we're being judged, or or we're being looked at a certain type of way, when actuality is really good to talk to somebody who doesn't know you, because you can just get everything out.
Right.
Sometimes people are just not even comfortable with somebody they don't know telling them about themselves too. That's a big problem.
So with me, when I first went, I went, and then I was like, no, this ain't for me, I'm good. And then I had an episode. This episode, I probably never told y'all. But I attempted to kill myself. So this episode, it was like, all right, you know what?
You and me both. I've had one of those.
I talked to my sister, and she was like, "You need to go and talk." And when I went, and the doctor, she it was more so like she was just sitting there listening. Like I could go from something that happened when I was 3 that I remember to something that happened when I was 23. It was never okay. Well, what happened after that? What happened after that? She just let me talk. So, but like you said, as Black people, we frown upon it because we feel like we're stronger than we are, and you're not. And then like you said, a lot of people, they don't like being judged. Like so. I'm gonna say the men that deal with depression have it harder than women, because everybody looks at a man like, oh no, you're supposed to be strong, you're supposed to be this. You're still human though. Yeah. So it takes you not wanting to go talk to somebody because you're afraid of
being judged.
They gonna judge me, or my men know I deal with it, so they gonna make fun of it, and it's not something that you make fun of, because it could be that one time where
that shit could send you over the edge.
Right, and it ain't no coming back.
Yeah.
Because I know me, like I know I have mood swings, multiple mood swings, and I was diagnosed with being bipolar, but it's not like excessive. It's just I don't know how to explain it, but I was diagnosed with being bipolar. So one day I can wake up and I'm good, you know what I'm saying, I'm straight, I ain't got no issues, and then it could just be something that'll and it could be the smallest thing. Mm-hmm. And at times I don't even really understand why I feel the way I feel about something this small. It just took me to that point, you know what I'm saying? It could be of a past experience that I dealt with when I was younger, or it could just be something that really just, you know what I'm saying, just hurt me, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, as far as the suicide, it was just one of those days where I just felt like it was a lot easier just to, you know what I'm saying, let go. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just one of those days where I felt like it was just easier just to end it. You know what I'm saying? But what got me through that was thinking about my mother, my father, my children, you know what I'm saying, my girl. It's just like people that I know that would be completely torn if I took myself away from them. You know what I'm saying? Especially on accounts like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy because, like you said, we never really know what each other is going through, and sometimes we never really care to ask, when sometimes all people want is a shoulder. You know what I'm saying? It's a shoulder to cry on, or just somebody to talk to without being judged.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Us as Black people, we do that. We judge each other off of what we see, and we don't care to ask, or man, how your day going, or how was your weekend? You know what I'm saying? Or how your mom is. Like, we ask, but we don't. You know what I'm saying? We don't really get into it.
But a lot of people, you also gotta be open to this shit too. So first of all, you have to put yourself around people that accept you for who you are. Number one. So like I pride myself about my circle all the time, because it's like, one thing we don't do is judge each other. We might talk about each other, we might joan on each other, but we don't, like, when it's something serious, you know, we realize we there for each other, you know what I'm saying? So niggas, like, that's number one. Make sure you gotta put yourself around niggas, you know, who are really your friends, who can accept you for, exactly, help you through your issue, you know, talk to you, whatever the fuck you got going on, just not judging you, you know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't, everybody got their own different shit. None of us live the same life. Everybody grew up different. We might have some similarities every now and then, comparisons, but at the end of the day, my mother ain't your mother. You know what I'm saying? So my father ain't your father. So everybody grew up different. However, some of us could have been financially stable. Some of us could have been in the trap. At the end of the day, we all men, and as men and as friends, that's a complete no. Like I said, don't get it twisted. I give you my opinion about some shit, and you might not like it, but at the end of the day, it ain't a judgmental thing. It's just how I feel, and at the end of the day, it's just some words of encouragement. How you go about it is based upon you. Right. But you know, like I said, like and I get it. Like, niggas worried about being judged, but you just rule number one: just put yourself around people that you can trust, and you ain't got to worry about judging you and looking at you different. You know, like, because it's like I said, you need those people in your life when you're dealing with shit like that. You have to have people in your life.
And another thing, you gotta be willing to talk about it. Right. Like, for the longest, I'm 30. I just opened up about a lot of stuff. maybe like 5 years ago. And it wasn't doing me any good because I was just holding it in, thinking like, no, you good, you alright, you this, you that, you strong. I was breaking myself down, and it was making me no good for my kids. So I feel like once you're to the point where you can talk about it, I'm not even gonna say to the point where you can talk about it and not cry, because some things it's still gonna be touchy, so you might cry. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But you gotta be able to confront yourself. Right. Once you get to that point where you can just talk about it, regardless if you're talking about it and you crying, or just one of those moments you call your friend like, man, you know what? You talk about some shit that happened 7 years ago. Right. Your friend don't know what the fuck you talking about, but they listening.
Right. If that's your friend, they gonna be there.
They gonna listen.
Right.
Like it used to be times. I rarely let my kids see me cry, but sometimes they might walk in my room. I could have been looking at TV, and something on TV made me have a flashback, and now I'll start crying. And I'd be like, what the fuck you crying for? Like, and I'd be thinking in my head, like, what you crying for? But then it's something that made me have a moment, and it just went from there. Right. But back to the talking to somebody. Some people don't like going. This was my biggest thing was I didn't want to go and talk to somebody. Not that they were going to judge me, but their first thing that they go to is medication. And I am against it. This is just me personally. To each his own. I've tried it, and it made me feel like a zombie. I was to the point like I'm sitting up here talking to y'all, and like 5 minutes later I'll be asleep looking like I'm strung out on something. And I didn't like my kids seeing me like that. Like I'd be up playing with them, take their medicine, and then I'm out, and then I'll wake up in like 10 minutes like, what happened? And I was like, oh, you fell asleep. So I got off of it because I didn't like how it made me feel.
What the fuck this shit? It gets you like high, and it's like make you forget about it for the moment, but when you back to normal, it's like you still got your problem still there.
Right. So the medication is not to. It wasn't to really get you high. It was more so to calm you down and put you in this happy space. And I'm using quotes because medication can't really do that, but it's to put you in this little happy space. It's basically to help you deal with it a little bit better than you just trying to deal with it on your own.
Okay.
So some people take the medication and it do good for them, but me, it was just something that I'm not with.
That's why that's one of the reasons why I was not really big on talking to a therapist, just for that specific reason, because of the putting you on medication and all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Just like kids, like you know what I'm saying. Like first thing, like if you take your child to the doctor and you feel like they got a heart problem or something, they put them on try to put them on Ritalin and shit like that.
And
like,
that messes them up.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not with all that. But
that's when you tell your doctor. Like, one of my first things when I went into therapy, I told her, I don't want medication. Right. So if that's what I know that that's your job, but if that's what you want to just keep pushing towards me, we could just end this now, because that's not something that I'm looking for. Like, listen to me talk. Try to help me understand some of the things that's, coming back up or whatever. Like, try to help me pinpoint on how I could get it together and not it be all over the place.
Right. I want to piggyback on the PTSD because I wasn't diagnosed for it, but I think I also have it. And I say that because anybody that know me know where I grew up is like a real bad neighborhood. Like at the age of 5, I remember coming in the house one night with my parents and seeing a dead body in the elevator. You know what I'm saying? Just walking through the lobby and it's just a dead body in the elevator. As a 5-year-old, it's you don't really understand it, but it's something that sticks with you. You know what I'm saying? And from that point, it went from me seeing the dead body in the elevator to maybe getting a little bit older, maybe like around 11, 12, being outside and seeing somebody get shot on the steps, you know what I'm saying? And just being there and seeing how it all went down. And I don't know how to explain it. I'm not gonna say I was scared or frightened, but I was more so like in shock. You know what I'm saying? Because you like first things first, as a 5-year-old, no 5-year-old should have to see that. You know what I'm saying? No 5-year-old should have to see that. And then going back to being 11, 12, this was like, I don't feel like an 11 or 12-year-old should have to see that. You know what I'm saying? Like, life is life, but it's just certain things that I don't feel like you, at a certain age, you shouldn't have to be around or bear witness to. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that for me kind of shaped me in a certain kind of way. You know what I'm saying? Like, put me on like a defensive with a lot of things. It made me not really want to hang around people for a very long time. You know what I'm saying? Like, not wanting to be in big crowds. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. That shit kind of like molded me in a certain kind of way. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's crazy because I look at the veterans that come back from the PTSDs and they say they had nightmares and stuff like that. Like, I had nightmares of being outside and hearing gunshots and seeing people drop dead in my sleep. You know what I'm saying? But I never talked to anybody about it. I just wake up in cold sweats and just try to fight it on my own. You know what I'm saying?
So my advice to you, I'm not a doctor, but it definitely sounds like you have PTSD. But you gotta go talk to somebody. Sometimes even if it's just you opening up to your friends, like you gotta talk about it. It's gonna still be times where you'll have those little nightmares and stuff like that, but you gotta talk about it. Like a couple weekends ago, like last weekend I want to say, or the weekend before, one of those weekends, I went back to Pennsylvania where I was born because I just kept having nightmares about my father. So when I was like 3 or 4, my father got busted upside his head with the pole, and I remember it vividly happening. And that's where my PTSD began, when I was 3 or 4. And it's sad that I remember that because I was so young. But the man, he busted him upside his head. And then when my mom came home, she went and beat the shit out of the man and ended up getting locked up. So mine started at a young age, and then just growing up, it was just certain little things that I went through that I felt like as a child no one should go through, you know. But you gotta talk about it. You can't keep it in, because if you keep it in, that shit drives you to a place where you might not be able to come back out. You might not be able to come back out. Like with my mom, prime example. She was doing good for a while, but then she lost her job, and so she went back to that place where she couldn't come out of, and unfortunately for her, she ended up dying from it. So I go through a lot of shit. I stay to myself. Some days is better than other days, but I don't want to leave my kids, so that's what keeps me here. Right. However, sometimes you're not even thinking about your kids either. Yeah, you're just thinking about the pain and the hurt. You're thinking about yourself. You don't want to deal with it anymore. Like I said earlier, the couple years ago when I tried to kill myself, it was like a wake-up call. However, it didn't wake me fully up because, and again, I probably didn't say all this, but this year, in April, I was doing some dumb shit, something that I wasn't supposed to be doing, and I overdosed. Again, trying to cope with the pain. Like, I didn't want to feel it anymore, but me not wanting to feel it anymore almost was me not feeling anything ever again. When I woke up, I was in the hospital, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And the doctor was like, you overdosed. He was like, thank God your sisters and them were right there, because I was turning blue and I ain't have no pulse. So it's a scary feeling to wake up and be told that, you know what I'm saying? So not saying that I won't slip again, but I'm gonna try my hardest not to. And that's why it's like, you gotta open up about that shit. You got to.
How I would look at, Brody, your situation, I would honestly, I would try to flip it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes a lot of things I do in my personal life, because like I said, I don't really deal with the depression thing, but part of it is because I try to turn negatives into positives. And basically going off of just judging, not judging, but basically just going off of what you saying, as far as like the whole, seeing a dead body when you 5 and know, that's traumatizing. You know what I'm saying? Like, but how I would personally flip it is, you know, like you said, we got children. You know, it's like I grew up this way. I don't want that for my kids. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to figure out ways to, you know, not be in the situations. Everything I try to do, I try to put my kids in situations that I wasn't in. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I grew up in these bad neighborhoods. I'm seeing dead bodies at 5. I know what that shit did to me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, because that shit did that to me, I don't want that to happen to my baby. So you know what? I'm gonna keep them away from. I'm gonna try. I mean, some things you can't. You can't control everything. You know what I'm saying? They can be in Walmart. You can be in Walmart in a nice neighborhood, and somebody coming in and get shot. It happens. You can't control everything, but I can try to control it as much as I could. You know what I'm saying? Like by not putting them in that situation. So I would try to, just like I said, I mean, yeah, I'm dealing with it. I'm speaking as you, but I'm like, yeah, if I was dealing with it, like, it's like, I would just, you know, I would try to flip it. I would try to make the negative a positive and just, you know what, I seen some shit I shouldn't have seen. That shit wasn't cool. That's like how we all raise our kids. It's like we knew that our fathers probably wasn't there as much as they should have been and did things that they needed to do. So what do? We try to, you know, be better than our fathers. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know what, I'm going to try to, you know, not prevent my babies from going up through the shit that I had to deal with. And if you focus on your kids more, not saying that you don't, I'm just words of advice. You know, if you kind of like try to focus on your kids more, I feel like I think it would take away from some of that pain. It ain't gonna take away all, because like I said, I can't really speak for you. I didn't have the experience you had, so I can't tell you how to feel. I'm just saying, I feel like for me, that would probably work. I feel like me, you know, focusing on them more, thinking about them more, you know, like I don't want them to have that. Like it's like anytime it come up in my head, I'm automatically reverting to my kids. It's like, you know what? Damn, that shit wasn't cool. I don't want my kids to go through that. And then go from there.
I mean, to be completely honest, everything that I do for my children, for the most part, and my family, you know what I'm saying? So that they don't have to, you know what I'm saying, be in that situation, because at that time, that was just a situation that my parents were in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't judge my parents because they did the best they could. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? At the time it was.
Ain't shit you can do.
But unfortunately, that's just something that I had to deal with.
Right.
Now, speaking on fathers, my father did his best on keeping me out of the neighborhood, putting me in sports and always keeping me over with my cousins and shit like that.
Right.
But at the end of the day, that's where I had to lay my head.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So
and regardless of you, every time you walk in there, like you could be a grown man and ride past it today.
I still do.
Exactly.
It's times where I'm leaving the club or I'm riding a late night by myself, and I go pull right up to Good Hope Avenue and I just sit outside, and just stand outside the gate and just look and just understand where I came from. You know what I'm saying? Because I could have easily been a product of my environment.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But instead, I chose a different path. I chose to be a better person. I chose to be a father, a visible and a loving father. You know what I'm saying? When it's motherfuckers who got fathers that they don't even see them. You know what I'm saying? Like our age. So it's just like everything that I do, I possibly think about my children first. But it's like she said, it's some things that just when it happened, you not thinking about your children. It's you just stuck in that moment. Cause like I said, some days I wake up, I'm good, I'm bubbly, I'm happy. What's up? What's going on? And other days I'm just like, this ain't it.
Yeah.
Day ain't day.
You just gotta find your positive. That's
I'm about to say. So I mean, it's a lot. You saying like for my kids, and granted, I know your kids out here, you know, for a reason and you love them.
Right.
However, you gotta want something for yourself.
Yeah, you're right.
You can't just be like, oh, I gotta live because of my kids. Because now you're just living. Now you're just here. You're just existing. You're not living because deep down inside you're still miserable. So after a while, that negativity is gonna come off on your kids, and you're not realizing it. But it's like you're trying to focus on just being this best parent because I don't want them to see me go through what I went through. However, they going through it, but they going through something different because we don't think kids see. But they pay attention to everything.
Yes,
so you gotta do it for you first, because if you don't do it for you, your kids it's gonna just my kids.
It's gonna be the
It's
same
just gonna be on my
situation.
kid. Well, I'm doing it for my kids. No, you gotta do it for you. If you're not doing it for you, then it ain't nothing you can possibly give them.
You got a point. You got a point. I'm just glad we having this conversation because, like I told you earlier, this conversation is very, very touching, and like we just said, a lot of people wouldn't want to speak on it. You know what I'm saying? Because of the judgment and being looked at a certain kind of way. But I mean, I just feel like us talking about this will give somebody else some light. You know what I'm saying, on their situation and how to move. Like, what are some things that y'all think can help people? I'm not gonna say get over it, but at least deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Deal with it a little better than what they are dealing with.
It's easy as shit to say get over it when you ain't dealing with it. But
Right.
like I said, number one, my words of advice is like I said, find a positive. Like find something, to like I get it, your problem's still there and you can temporarily forget about it because you focusing on something else, but it's just like at the end of the day, you like some things like life is life. Right. And things is gonna happen. Like we all here, we live, and we all gonna go one day. That shit happen. It's like, and sometimes it happen unexpected. You kind of expect it when people get old. It's like, okay, your time is coming. You're old, but it's like, and then there's some shit just randomly happen out of nowhere. But it's like, it's worse when you were the cause of your own death. As far as like, not even just basically killing yourself. Like just basically killing yourself. Like that's like the worst death.
It is, but sometimes people are just so lost that they feel like life would be better without me being here. Like me being here is putting a burden on a lot of people. And I know they say surround yourself with good people, but sometimes your friends can't take your pain away. All they can do is listen to you. You could cry maybe on their shoulder or something like that, but then you still got that pain. So for me, talk to somebody. Like I know we frown upon it, but go talk to somebody. Like go to therapy. Like it's real. Go to therapy. You might not want to get on the medication. I started smoking. However, when that high goes down, my problem's still there. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I stopped smoking.
So, however, it helps me. It does help me. This is just me. It helps me. It helps me cope a little bit better with it. Cause every day it's something, it's something different, and it's old things, but it's still current, if that makes sense. So, it's nothing. I mean, the only thing I can really say is just talk. Just don't think that you have no one. Because you have people that genuinely really do care about you, but you're afraid or you're scared that you're going to be judged because you're having these mental illnesses, I'm going to say, that you're afraid to talk to somebody. And you can't always be like that. Like, you got to let your guard down, because if you don't, you're only hurting you.
I feel like the more you hold it in, the worse it
gets.
Yeah.
Like, the worse it gets. And like I said, from 3 to 20 something, and still going through stuff in between those years, you know what I'm saying? So it fucked me up. Like I giggle and laugh, but those that really know me know I'm fucked up. I know I'm fucked up. So that gotta be the first thing. You gotta admit that you got a problem. If you don't admit that you have a problem, ain't nothing that nobody can tell you.
You gotta be honest.
You gotta
with
be
yourself.
honest with yourself. Yeah. You gotta be honest with the people that you say you love. Like, you gotta be honest with these people, because these people have to know that, okay, he or she was just good. Now they this. So some people be like, man, fuck that shit. She'll get over it. Like, that's not what that shouldn't be your mental. That's the bad way. Yeah, because now it's like, damn. Well,
he don't care, or she don't care.
Exactly. But they don't know that, oh damn, this person really suffers with depression. They just thinking you just being a spoiled ass bitch or asshole because you've never opened up to them and let them know, like, look, A, B, C, and D. Sometimes you might walk in the house and you might see me on the floor crying and you don't know why.
Right.
And they ain't gonna know why, because you damn sure you don't even fucking know why. Right. But it's just the hearing that, all right, well, when you want to talk about it, I'm right here, and they leave you to get yourself together
Right.
and come talk when you're ready. Like that, and that's another thing. Don't pressure somebody to talk about it. Like when they're ready to talk, they'll talk. However, you gotta make that first step, and that's just admitting that you got a problem.
I also don't do very well with trusting. I have problems with trusting people, and that's something that I've been working on. But that shit is really, really hard. You know what I'm saying? I can't really pinpoint an actual experience or what made me that way, but I do know that it's something that made me that way, because I just wasn't like that. You know what I'm saying? I just never was just, oh, fuck this person, I don't trust this person for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody, you have to earn trust, but at the same time, you give what you know what I'm saying? You get what you give.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing that I wanted to touch on. And also, I suffer from anxiety. Like, sometimes I have, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel myself, like, having panic attacks sometimes, and I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just getting hyper. You know what I'm saying? Just be like, all right. But then I start to breathe, and then it goes away. But, you know what I'm saying? It hasn't been as bad as it was. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was to a point where that shit was like on a regular. But I think that was chronic anxiety. I think that came from me smoking a lot of fucking weed.
I mean, everybody's different because I smoke and it actually helps me with my anxiety and my depression. Sometimes it could be a twofold though. Sometimes that shit have tripped me the fuck out, and I'm in there tripping. Like,
yeah, I done had one of them situations
replaying situations in my head,
yeah.
And that shit just like attacks you. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just all in with you yourself. You know what works for you, but you can't be opposed to trying something new because you're afraid of being judged. Like, you have to open up, and your story might help somebody.
Right.
Like, it's a lot of stuff that I don't open up about, but sometimes it's just like. It's just something like weighing down on me, and I opened up about it. Like, I think it was last year or something. I finally opened up about the domestic violence with both of my baby fathers. Right. A lot of my family members didn't know, so all their comments was, "Why didn't you say something? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that?" Because I didn't fucking want to.
Right, didn't want to be judged.
Like, and that was my response.
Business.
Like, it's not your business. And and the comments, I didn't feel nobody being genuine. Like, "Oh damn, I'm sorry you went through that." It was, "Oh, why you ain't say nothing? What the fuck was you gonna do?"
Just wanted to be nosy.
Like,
yeah, I mean,
nobody said damn. A couple people did say, "Damn, I'm sorry you went through that," but
it'd be fine.
you sometimes you got it does, but sometimes you got to use your story because your story might help somebody else out. And even though you still going through your shit, you can help that other person overcome something that they dealing with, but they're afraid to open up about it because they're afraid of being judged. Like,
right.
I just opened up a lot to whoever's gonna watch this video. You know what I'm saying? And there's still a lot of stuff that people don't know, but that's something major. Like suicide, depression, anxiety is real.
In the African American community, we fighting that shit like on top of everything else that we're fighting. We're fighting each other we're fighting in our heads. On top of the racism, on top of fighting each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so much that we deal with. And then you gotta think about it. The young people, and I don't really mean to get on this, but you gotta think about it, like, social media ain't helping either. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, we all understand that social media is for show. It's just for show. But these younger children, this younger generation, it's life for them because this is what they were born into. You know what I'm saying? Like, we wasn't born into having social media. When we had conversations with people,
it was on the phone.
It was on the phone. It was face to face.
Don't call back after 10 o'clock.
Correct.
My mama
you know
gonna be
out. Correct. You know what I'm saying? We grew up with ringtones.
If I hang up, that means she came in my room.
You know what I'm saying? Niggas had ringtones and niggas was putting songs on their call on the little messages and shit. You know what I'm saying?
But it was I can't remember what comedian said it, but. He said something about social media like being a big play in people's depression. No, it wasn't Dave Chappelle, but he was saying like you on Instagram, you get on Instagram and you scrolling through and you see this girl that ain't got no job, no money, don't know where she going, but she living her best life in Cabo. But you sitting at your cubicle at a job that you hate. Like, man, how the fuck they doing this? Not saying that the person that's in Cabo shouldn't live their life because it was your money that paid to go to. You know what I'm saying? But social media does have a lot to
That
do.
shit,
It does weigh on people's depression
That
because
shit fucks people up.
it does.
That's-
Like, because
that's
you're looking
sad.
at it, and it is
That's
sad.
sad.
But it's sad that you can't post what you want to post because other people might get offended. So it's like it's
Right.
kind of like a twofold thing with the social media
Man, at the
thing.
end of the day, your social media is yours. You can
Right.
say whatever you want, and if you know what I'm saying, you worried about what other people think, then you might don't need to have it. Like, everybody got problems. Everybody motherfucking, at the end of the day, like, what's your purpose?
Nobody's
you know what I'm
life
saying?
is perfect.
Okay, you see somebody living their best life, they ain't got no job, and you motherfucking at your cubicle and you don't like it, what you gonna do about it? What are you, like,
But
how do
also that person that you think is living their best life,
I mean,
probably
motherfuckers
ain't
be
even got no
miserable and
home
shit.
to go to.
That's what I'm
You
saying.
know what
Some
I'm
of these
saying?
motherfuckers be looking sweet,
they out here
doing it for the
screaming,
gram, and they
Doing it for the gram,
mattress on the fucking floor.
or they still
You know
living at
what
home
I'm
with their mother getting cussed out.
saying? Exactly.
So it's not always what you see, but sometimes people do. Some people feed into social media too much,
Right.
and it plays on someone else's depression.
But as far as the younger generation, I can understand where they come from with the depression as far as the social media, because like I said, we can sit here and say it. We can sit here and be like, you shouldn't be worried about what other people doing or what this person got or what that person got. I mean, because we grown. You know what I'm saying? We grown. Like, it's things that we can control that they can't.
Yeah.
That some of these kids can't control. Because you got to think about it. Some of these kids that's on social media, some of these kids might not even have parents. You know what I'm saying? Might not have nowhere to sleep. Might not be able to eat at night. You know
And
what I'm saying? Go to school, sell drugs just so they can be able to eat.
I get it, but you gotta think it's like I said, everybody got problems. Like what Mike Epps said, this shit. If you fucking everybody in here in this room drop their problems on the floor,
You're right. You're
and you
absolutely
pick
right.
up and they
Pick
scatter
up the wrong
around
set of problems.
and you pick up the wrong problems. It could be worse than what you already got.
Correct.
There's niggas out here who are millionaires.
Who
There's
got
people out
problems.
here who are millionaires who grew up homeless and sleeping in their car and all that. But guess what they did?
Motivated themselves.
They found a way to. It's a lot of money out here.
Mm-hmm.
Find your purpose. If you
Some
see
people-
if you see somebody else living, looking at it, if that bothers you, then do something about it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. You're a kid, and this for the young generation. You're a child, and you going to school, and you see this motherfucker doing this and doing that. They not going to school and all that. At the end of the day, if that's not the path you want to take, if you see okay, they doing drugs or selling drugs and they get money, it's like damn, I want money, but I don't want to do that. Then you got to figure out a way to get money. You know what I'm saying? Go to school. Go try to get an education. They giving away money, but you have to be willing to do it. You can't just say, "Oh, I want to live like them," but do nothing about it.
Right.
Like you have to, like you know what I'm saying.
It's all
Find your purpose.
Right. It's all in how you live it, because it's some people out here. It's a lot of people. I'm not gonna say some. It's a lot of people out here that you don't even know are going through the things that they're going through.
Correct.
Because they was like, you know what, this is not gonna be who I am. It's something that I'm going through, but it ain't me.
Right.
You know what I'm
better
saying?
than
I'm
this.
better than this. And you gonna still have your times, but you gonna have you got something to keep you going. You know what I'm saying? And that's in the sense of like what you said with the kids. Like you have some people out here, prime example. Me and my siblings, we've been through a lot. But you can't tell unless we actually open up too.
Like just like me and my brother.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like my oldest, well, the second oldest, she living her dream in California. Like her dream was to get a production company. Her team, they got it. They on their shit. Like she has her masters. She didn't let what we went through
Stop her.
Exactly.
She didn't let it define her.
And that's real inspiring because
It is,
some
because
people,
it's possible. Some people use it as a crutch, whereas though she didn't. And her, just like me, started at a young age as well. Like we're 4 years apart. It would be times when we were in Pennsylvania and my dad would come back home. My mother would leave us in the house together. Like mind you, we're 4 years apart, so I'm a baby, and my sister at 4 is making my bottles and feeding me and changing my diaper. Like that fucks a child up.
yeah, having to grow up at a young age.
You know what I'm saying? And then not only that, like her, not to put her business out here, but I mean it's just something that maybe somebody else can use. Like her father was murdered when she was a child. She talks about it now, and then then my father, who was her father as well, he died when I was 14. So she was what, 19, 18. 18, 17, something like that. I don't remember how old she was, but she didn't use that as a crutch. She didn't use like, oh, my parents were fucked up, so
Right.
I could be a fuck up.
Right.
Her goal was, I ain't gonna be nothing like them. Like, I'm gonna go through what I go through. I'll talk about it when I'm ready, but I'm gonna boss up and do what the fuck I gotta do. And that's what she did, and that's what she's still doing. So
That's special though. Like that's like to motivate yourself like that. And I feel like we all got it in us. It's just some of us choose
Not to do it.
Right, choose not to do it, and some of us look at shit and be like, you know what, this ain't for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, like my situation, like I grew up where I grew up. But when every time I went outside, like I was cool with all the dope boys and everybody outside, like cool with everybody, you know what I'm saying? Coming home from practice, they asked me like, yeah, little Brody, like how your football, how you know what I'm saying, how football going, how basketball going, you know what I'm saying? I was cool with everybody, but just me being outside with them and seeing the shit that they was getting into, and you know what I'm saying, like I had one night I was outside till probably like 9:30 or something. This was like when I was in high school. Like probably like 9th, 10th grade. Was outside till like 9:30 or some shit, just hanging at the playground. You know what I'm saying? All my men from around the way, they was outside, whatever. And just so happened, like, I don't know if it was God, but I had a feeling. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, I'm gone. I'm about to go in the house, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And they was like, all right, little brody, da-da-da. The next morning, I come out, I see police everywhere, and I see blood and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I asked one of my men, was like, what happened? He was like, bro, like right after you left, probably like 15 minutes after you left, some niggas came and started shooting. You know what I'm saying? And that, like, and to me, that shit was like, damn, like I was literally just with these niggas. Like I could have got hit. You know what I'm saying? All types of shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's just some of us choose to go a different way, and some, like you said, some of us choose to use it as a crutch. But for those people who are dealing with these issues, just take some time out to breathe. If you gotta meditate, or like she said, if you just need to talk to somebody, like put yourself around people that's not gonna judge you, that's not gonna look at you different. If anything, they want to help.
you gotta allow yourself to be vulnerable.
Right.
You have to.
Right.
You have to allow yourself to be vulnerable. You have to sit down and actually talk about it, because it's just gonna fuck you up. The longer you hold it in, the worse it gets. Not saying that it'll be easier when you open up, but it'll be easier than what you were going through. So you gotta be willing to talk. You gotta, and shit, you don't want to talk to your friends? Go talk to a therapist.
Right.
Like, you can tell them what type of therapist you want. You can tell them if you want a man or a woman. You can tell if you want it to be a black person, white person, Spanish person. Like, it's your preference. You tell them however you want them to be, and they'll get you that therapist. But you can't go to the therapy session and just be like,
Yeah.
and just sit there and talk. Like,
Right.
if you ain't ready,
It's pointless.
you
Right.
ain't ready.
Right.
But at some point,
You know when you're ready.
you do know when you're ready. And even sometimes when you think you're ready, you still might not be ready. Like I said, when I first went, the lady was talking to me, I looked at her like she was crazy. Not gonna lie. I was like, you know what, this ain't for me. And she asked me, she was like, why is it not for you? I said, I don't know, but I'm just not ready. And she said, right. She said, and she didn't pressure me about it. She was like, okay, well, when you're ready, call back and make another appointment. You know, it was even to the point, like, she would text, no, it was a guy, I'm sorry. He would text, like, hey, just checking in. Do you feel you ready to talk about it now? Like, are you ready to schedule your appointment so we can talk? And I'd be like, no. It was like I was pushing it off. And he would just be like, okay, well, when you're ready, just text me and let me know. But I pushed it off for a while. I was just like, no, I don't need to talk to nobody. I'm fine. Like, I don't need to talk to nobody. I'm whatever. But then it got to the point, like, I wasn't eating. Had to make myself eat. I was just sleeping. I didn't want to be bothered with nobody. Not even my kids. Like, leave me alone. Like, I would just be so irritated. But they ain't did shit to me. So that day, I was like, you know what? Get your ass up. Go talk to somebody. I went and I talked like laid everything, and then that's another thing. You have to lay everything out on the table when you're ready. But when you are ready and you get that going and you get in that flow, it's best to just lay everything out. And it could be something really, really small that you probably be like, they're gonna be laughing at me, or they gonna be like, what? That was like, but it's something that's really affecting you. That's making, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's something. It could be really small, but it's something big to you. So you got to be willing to talk about everything, like everything.
Even for like the kids, like if you don't have nobody to talk to, go talk to your guidance counselor. You know what I'm saying? Or if you got a favorite teacher or somebody, you know what I'm saying? Even if you cool with the fucking janitor, you know what I'm saying? Like
They all was kids before.
yeah,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? We all time don't do nothing but recycle. You know what I'm saying? Like it's shit that we going through that it's grown ups older than us can talk to us about now, when we look at them like, what? Like you went through this?
that?
You know what I'm saying? Like it's just being able to have a conversation and not being afraid to say what's on your mind or say what you're going through.
But then also, back to the kids part, with the grown-ups, you got to remember that at one point you were a child. Because with some grown-ups nowadays, we so stuck in frowning our noses up. Like, you was a child, you did the same dumb wild shit that they was doing, except for you probably ain't get caught. You know what I'm saying? Whereas though now these kids get caught, you be like, these dumbass kids. No, because you was a dumbass child too before.
Right.
So we can't keep labeling them as dumbass little kids, because then they're going to start to believe that they just a dumbass bad little kid. And then they're not going to want to talk to anybody. They're going to start rebelling. So you got to remember that you were a child. You got to teach them. You got to educate them. You might not agree with what they're doing, but you got to educate them on why they shouldn't do it then.
Right.
Like, give them an example of, if you do this, this is going to be the outcome.
And from that
You know what I'm
point,
saying? And sometimes even if you do it the right way, it's still a possibility that it might not go the way that you plan for it to go. But the fact is, don't give up. You got to keep going. You're going to fail sometimes.
Correct.
But you only fail when you don't keep trying.
Right. And it's 100% of the shots you don't take.
Facts.
But I mean, if y'all don't have anything else to, you know what I'm saying, give out, we gonna wrap it up. Anybody else? All right. Well, I'm your host, The Real Brody, and this is the We Say
They Say
podcast. Got my co-host with me, Bone Quisha right here in the middle. Got my brother to the right of me, meet you 2 times.
4 times.
And we out.